The Zelda 35th anniversary is here, and the following video is sponsored by Skillshare. Stay tuned for a message later on in the video. 2020 had Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, but that game was only a taste of what to expect during Zelda's grand 35th anniversary celebration. Or was it? As it could be that it and February's 3D World plus Bowser's Fury switched release windows. You know how this goes. Bowser's Fury was going to conclude Mario's 35th anniversary in November 2020, and Age of Calamity was to kickstart Zelda's 35th anniversary around the 21st of February. It is just that Bowser's Fury needed more development time, while Age of Calamity was ready for release, and thus the two games ended up messing up two crucial anniversaries. Another example of how messed up 2020 was. But February 21st marks the beginning of Zelda's 35th anniversary, Sorry Metroid, an anniversary that could be filled with multiple Zelda titles. Well, that is unless they had planned Age of Calamity and Breath of the Wild 2 coming out both during the 35th anniversary. Before we get into that, I want to set the aim for this year. 350,000 subscribers for Zelda's 35th anniversary by December 31st. Ambitious? Yes. But together, by pressing that subscribe button, we help the channel grow. It is completely free, and the same goes with liking the video and pressing that notification bell, and again for all notifications. You see, Nintendo as well as the Zelda team know that Breath of the Wild currently sells way better than the rest of the regular Zelda series, and thus it makes sense that they would fill the 35th anniversary of The Legend of Zelda with nothing but Breath of the Wild related games. It is just that the Mario team potentially screwed up, and that plan had to be thrown out of the window due to Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Well, at least to some extent, since Age of Calamity is likely to receive paid DLC through 2021, with multiple playable villain and Sheikah characters after mission voice files were discovered by data miners. The question is when these were going to be released. No doubt, Age of Calamity would have been revealed long before the turn of the year, but its final trailer and demo announcement might have been saved for a Zelda Direct, much like the Mario 35th Anniversary Direct we saw in early September 2020. What else would this Direct contain? I will tell you, but right after we go over the power of green, namely Skillshare, the online community which helps you pursue your passions. If you want to make videos like this one, then you need to learn video editing, and you can avoid my early struggles with classes by filmmaker Jody Vanderput, who offers excellent beginner and more advanced classes on Premiere Pro, the editing software that we use in this video. Want to add live action footage to it as well? Vimeo's Mark Cerso Simo has plenty of skills to share for his Creating Pro videos with tools you already own series. And that is the point with Skillshare, aiding beginners and experienced creators alike. I, for instance, still need to get better at animations in After Effects. Luckily, Jake Bartlett has got me covered with his class, and there are plenty of others in fields like photography, manga, drawing, and much more. So use the link in the description below, as the first 1,000 of you will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium, and after that it is just $10 per month. But now, let's get back to a potential Zelda Direct and the games that could be in it. Obviously, we can't talk about the Zelda Direct without talking about Breath of the Wild sequel, probably the most anticipated game right now after Cyberpunk's 2077 dropped the ball hard. Delays are sometimes needed, as we saw in the case of Breath of the Wild, and AAA games do need 4 and sometimes 5 years in the oven, just as what was the case with Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild. Two games that could become more significant during the 35th anniversary than they have been for a couple of years. Breath of the Wild sequel by getting an official title and hopefully a release, and as for Skyward Sword, an HD remake to celebrate its 10th anniversary this year. Its level-based provinces would be perfect in upscaled 4K if a Nintendo Switch Pro turns into reality, and that is the slight issue we have here with a potential Zelda Direct in say February. A revised top model Switch. If it doesn't exist, then I would actually be surprised if we don't see a Zelda Direct in the first half of this year. If it does exist, however, then I would not expect anything until a Breath of the Wild 2 dedicated Direct later on in the year. One that takes place after a Switch Pro is out, if it's coming out around the same time the Lite came out, so somewhere between July and September. The Switch Pro is really the complicating factor here, as it could be that Nintendo is holding away more Breath of the Wild 2 trailers, title reveals, and gameplay until they are ready to show it running on a revised top model. And that is a dilemma, since Zelda as a whole could, due to this development, be held as a Switch Pro hostage. The same goes in many ways for an eventual Skyward Sword HD, which to be fair seems less and less likely due to the lack of motion controls on the Switch Lite, and that's a real shame if you ask me, being the only 3D Zelda game without a remaster remake and only playable officially on Wii and Wii U with the Motion Plus controller or peripheral. and the motion controls a Skyward Sword's remake Curse, making it exclusive for the base model Nintendo Switch, as the Switch Lite has no Joy-Cons, and who knows if the Switch Pro will even have HD Rumble Joy-Cons, instead of a bundled Pro controller beside a merged button layout like the Lite in undocked mode. The thing is that the year is uncertain, and without a Switch Pro, I could see a Skyward Sword HD remake, though the Lite and its lack of Joy-Cons makes me question whether that will even happen, along with the possibility that Age of Calamity was meant for early 2021 instead of late 2020. So what else before Breath of the Wild's sequel? Possibly an online Zelda 35th Switch Online game, much like Super Mario 35. And the same with that game and Zelda 2 on a new Game & Watch. Then you have the long-rumored Zelda Triforce collection. And let me say it straight out, do not expect all 5 3D Zelda games prior to Breath of the Wild in this collection, but rather another 3D All-Stars, with an HD emulated version of Ocarina of Time, but not the 3D version, along with Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD. A bundle that even without the Skyward Sword HD remake, and Majora's Mask 64 and limited release, will be a better collection than Mario 3D All-Stars. Actually, with possibly Nintendo 64 Switch Online also coming this year, it would be better to just sell a dual game bundle of Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD. But obviously, this one could not be called the Triforce Collection without Ocarina of Time. As you can see, the theorized earlier release of Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity has left a vacuum that needs filling in Zelda's 35th anniversary, and DLC alone will not suffice. At the same time, we also potentially have the Switch Pro, and the fact that we haven't had a brand new mainline Zelda game since, you guessed it, Breath of the Wild on March 3rd, 2017. All of the previously mentioned factors in this video points more and more towards Breath of the Wild's sequel being prepared for sometime late this year. And unlike Cyberpunk 2077, they have not overpromised years in advance. After all, the game is a sequel with a new look for Zelda, a new powerful Link, underground traversal, and a freakish Ganondorf that we likely have to fight at some point in the game. No massive trailers detailing the world of Hyrule, or 45-minute long gameplay videos. Oh, and definitely not promising to come when it's ready, but rather confirming its development. Since let's face it, as long as Breath of the Wild 2 delivers the same great gameplay experience found in Breath of the Wild, with new additions here and there, proper dungeons, greater boss and enemy variety, and some new areas, then the game will succeed no matter what. No one expects the same revolution that Breath of the Wild delivered, but rather a refinement and improvement of the existing formula with a few new spices here and there to elevate the experience. And let's be honest, Nintendo needs this game in 2021, after under-delivering in terms of brand new mainline experiences in 2020. The same goes for the 35th anniversary of Zelda and a possible Nintendo Switch Pro model. A comeback for Nintendo is needed, after what could be close to 20 months without a new mainline installment in one of Nintendo's 6 best sellers: Mario Kart, Animal Crossing, Smash, mainline Pokemon, 3D Zelda, and 3D Mario. And this is why 2021 should and must be the year for Zelda to shine, as none of the other franchises on this list have confirmed upcoming new mainline installments that have been revealed. Naturally, most depends on Breath of the Wild's sequel, but if it requires more time, say until an early 2022 release, then the Skyward Sword HD for its 10th anniversary combined with a Zelda collection including Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD could compensate enough. At the same time, we have to admit, the Zelda cycle is complete. After Breath of the Wild, we've had our spin-off game 1 in Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, remake with Link's Awakening HD, and side game 2 with Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. Yes, we could see another remake this year, but this would leave us with the longest wait for a new Zelda installment since ever. Since Link's Awakening to Ocarina of Time was not more than a little bit over 5 years wait, and that with Breath of the Wild's sequel reusing most of the assets of Breath of the Wild, its characters, and even its open world. A lot of points of doubts, but also hopes, make Zelda's 35th anniversary the most unclear since 2001, as 2006 had Twilight Princess confirmed as we entered that year. 2011 had Skyward Sword all set to celebrate the 25th anniversary. 2016 was going to bring us Breath of the Wild, but at least ended up with Twilight Princess HD. 2021 so far has nothing, with only Breath of the Wild's sequel title pending under development. But what do you think about all of this? Will the Zelda 35th anniversary leave us a little disappointed, or finally deliver Breath of the Wild's sequel at the end of the year? Or will we see something more beside Age of Calamity DLC until then? Sound off in the comment section down below. And to help the channel grow, press that like, subscribe and notification buttons, and share the video so more people can watch it. Finally, a big thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring the channel during low ad revenue times, along with our patrons. Join the ranks headed by our royal producer Charles Shash on patreon.com/commonrealm, or please enjoy one or both of these two awesome videos.